Scheduling 101, how to effectively manage and schedule your time. Hi, my name is Emma and I work at Loyola's Student Success Center. Today, my colleague Marlia and I are going to talk to you about how to manage your schedule in this unprecedented college experience during a pandemic. Living during a pandemic brings about lots of new challenges, particularly in an academic setting, with managing virtual and hyflex learning. There are a lot of differences with how you manage your time when you're taking classes online. Today, we're going to talk to you about the differences in hyflex and virtual learning, how to create a schedule really efficiently and clearly, and we're also going to provide you with some more tips on how to manage your time and schedule in general. So step one is just getting to know your class schedule. This year, you can take a combination of hyflex and virtual classes, and there are 3 different things to keep in mind. So the first is a hyflex class. That means it's a class that's meeting in person some of the time, and sometimes it's going to be meeting online. So you have to figure out how to manage when to be in the classroom versus when to tune into Zoom. Next, there are 2 different types of virtual classes. One is synchronous, which means that your class is meeting via Zoom at a recurring time and day. So it's basically like attending class, just not with other people. Lastly, there's asynchronous learning. And this is the most different from hyflex and synchronous learning. So basically with this, your class is not going to be meeting regularly via Zoom or in person. You're just going to be completing classwork on your own time in accordance with the deadlines set by your professor. Something to keep in mind is if you're confused about when you should be in person for your hyflex classes versus attending Zoom, you should just go ahead and email your professor or send them a message on campus so that they can let you know what their plan is with that. Right here, you can see an example of a class on Canvas. And it shows you each week it's broken down with different assignments that you have and different material that you'll be covering. It can be really helpful to take a look at this view on Canvas to make sure that you're managing your time properly and pacing out when you're working on your different assignments. So the next step after you figure out what times do I need to be in person, what times do I need to be on Zoom, is blocking out time for your asynchronous classes. So you want to make sure that you're not just letting the work in those asynchronous classes pile up, even though you're not meeting regularly with other people. So what we recommend doing is setting aside time each week to ensure you're not falling behind on your assignments. We always recommend thinking about 2 main things with this. When are you most productive in general? And then what days are less heavy with your other classes? So in this example on the screen, you can see that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are busier with virtual or hyflex classes, whereas the Tuesday and Thursday block is less busy. So in red, we went ahead and scheduled time that represents when a student would be working on their coursework for their asynchronous classes. So it's a good way to kind of get in a habit and make sure you're devoting just as much time to those courses as the ones that you have meetings for.
So the next step is to color code your planner or your calendar, whichever you choose to use. So it can really be hard to keep track of what is in person, what is online. And so color coding really helps you to clearly see where and when you need to be. So for the virtual, in-person, or asynchronous, you can change the colors to match when you need to be in class versus when you don't need to be in class. And as Emma said, we need to set aside time to work on the classes that are not in person or virtual. So this can also look like putting down the room number, who is teaching the class and maybe their contact information, and the Zoom link for when you'll be virtually attending. So to be able to make sure that you can continue to have the same schedule throughout the whole semester with the type of color that you want. If you see on the left, what you do is you click the day that you have the class and you can add the title. You can set the time specifically And you can also, if it is a Zoom class, you can put in the link for that. To be able to set it to be repetitious throughout the semester, you will click under the date and time, the does not repeat button, and you can have it repeat weekly until the class ends. So if it ends the first week of December, that's when you will click for it to end. The next step is assignments. So it's important to be able to check your assignments weekly and make a list just so it doesn't pile up and maybe you don't fall behind with things. So each week adding in a deadline in a different color that coordinates with the class. So for maybe normal things that you need to have due each week, like a reflection of the reading for the week, having it in a certain color. If it's something that is maybe a heavier assignment, like a paper or an exam, maybe doing it in a different color, like red, so it stands out more. Another example is really breaking down big projects into smaller deadlines, or for a large test to break down topics. And doing this can help you to also utilize maybe the tutoring center if you want to get some extra aid when it comes to tackling some of these big things. So this is an example of some assignments that are due and their due dates. And so this could also be incorporated onto your calendar if you have an exam, a quiz, or whichever it is, to have it be on your calendar, to have one place where you can see everything that is due.
So like Marlia was saying, Canvas lists out all your assignments so you can see it pretty clearly. A tip that we have is actually integrating your Canvas with your Google Calendar. This way, the assignments, you can keep track of them on both platforms. Another tip that we have that we really want to emphasize is choosing a specific day and time to go through all the different assignments and deadlines you have coming up, check for any changes that could have been made, and just prepare for your general assignments coming up each week at a specific time. So a lot of students like to do this on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. They just carve out an hour or two to look forward at all the different things coming up in the week. And then that way they can make a list prioritizing what needs to get done first and how they want to, manage and devote their time in the upcoming few days. Another tip we have is turn on your notifications for Canvas. This way you get emails and little reminders that pop up so you're not missing anything. And you can also check on the right-hand side of the screen for updates on when assignments are due, and that'll let you know if there are any announcements or things that have changed. So right here on this screen, you can see the to-do where it's showing up on your Canvas platform. And on the other image, you can see where you can actually link your Google Drive or Google Calendar to Canvas so that you can have that feature enabled.
Thank you for joining us. Hope these tips were really helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, reach out to us at the Student Success Center by text, and that is our number. Thank you.